Hello everybody, it is I, Mark Major. Yes, that Mark Major. A real big toy collector here in Southeast Portland, also the old school sales and marketing guy. And today we're going to take a look at a marketing campaign. This is something that's on a website that is made to look like it's a crowdfund, but it is not. And let me tell you, there's a lot of questions I have as to why this person is doing this. To me, it looks like the world's largest, most expensive, most unasked for vanity project that I've ever seen. This is, in fact, the Eric July Ripperverse Isom 7-inch McFarlane action figure. And that's just a lot to say, but wait till you see the way he's selling it on his website. We're going to go through all the details. I don't even know what order to present information on this. It's kind of a chaotic soup. But if you love the marketing of action figures and you're a real big toy collector like I am, you're going to find this a lot of fun, real kind of interesting. So everybody, you know what you do. You gather around, strap on the leather, hold on tight. Let's cue up the desktop. Here we go. I'm going to switch over. And through the magic of OBS, here we are. Okay, this is on the ripperverse.com website. The guy behind this whole enterprise is a cat by the name of Eric July. He's kind of a big deal as a YouTuber. He also sort of made a bunch of waves when he launched his own comic book called Isom. It supposedly did quite well, although he didn't crowdfund it. He just simply put it up for sale on his website, and then he presented the numbers. And so I can't verify that the numbers he presented are real, but he claims to have made close to $1 million or something like that on just this one comic book. He's since released other comic books involving a bunch of ex-DC Marvel guys who he's hired to write them or pen them, etc. And now he's on to the action figure. It's a 7-inch action figure for the Isom character, and we're going to take a look at the marketing on the site because to me, I have a lot of questions and they all start with why. All right, let's get into this since this should be a lot of fun. It says Isom 7-inch action figure pre-order collection, so he's not raising money to crowdfund this. He's already telling you that the fulfillment date is going to be Q4 of this year to sometime in Q1 of next year. So he's hoping to have this essentially before or around the Christmas season-esque, right? Which means that this has already been well into production because it takes one minimum 2 years maximum from the time so you conceive an idea to the time in which it's made and in your hand for an action figure. So this is something that he had to have started easily last year in 2024, maybe even 2023 to get it this far. So this is already made. This is going to be on the water. This will be here. He doesn't need to raise money for it. He just needs to sell them. Now, why would you do a pre-order? Why don't you just have them in hand and say, hey, they're for sale on my website. Come get them anytime. The reason why you might want to do a pre-order is because you might want to use that to try and generate as much money as you can beforehand to pay some bills, in which case you would want to do a carrot and a stick and say, if you pre-order it, you get it for this price. If you wait for it to arrive, it's going to be this price. You have to incentivize people. I see nothing about that here, okay? All I do is I see the prices. Now, here's another thing. I don't understand this, people. He's not crowdfunding anything. Why does he have a meter telling us how many items are sold and how much money he's raised? Why would we care? Like usually on a crowdfund, there's these different tiers, and if you get to the tiers, you know, it unlocks a thing, and so people, it's just all marketing scam, by the way, the crowdfunds, the way they do that, like especially the HasLabs. But that's the reason why they do it. Why is it on this page? It's just some guy who's got a tchotchke for sale, put it up for sale. Well, he does have some sort of milestones. And the milestones, a big why, are also hot trash garbage. This doesn't make any sense. Here's the first milestone at 2,000 figures sold, right? So he's done 267. At 2,000, we'll unveil the next 5 potential characters. I don't care. Why would anyone care what the next characters are? You're either going to make more characters or you're not. Unveiling them is not something like a reason to push people to buy more figures. Oh, I'm going to buy 2 because I can't wait to see which ones are coming. That's not an incentive, okay? 5,000 figures, the next figure is greenlit. That's an internal thing. That's on you. What do we care which figure? That's your own, schedule and finances and budgeting and your business plan. That's your business plan is a milestone. 10,000 figures sold, 3rd figure goes live. They're going to keep the momentum going. He's going to greenlight another figure. And if the figure sells out, which I guess has got to be 10,000 figures, I mean, that must have been the minimum he ordered. He's going to go even bigger, and he's going to greenlight a 4th figure. So he's basically telling if he sells out, he's willing to put more stuff into production. That seems pretty obvious. If I sold out of a product, that would tell me that there's enough demand that says, look, if there's enough demand for this, keep shoveling more fuel into the fire. But how are these milestones? Who cares? This doesn't affect anything to do with what you get. It's not like at 2,000 figures sold, everyone gets like a free hat or something, or everyone gets a stick of gum, or everyone gets an extra poodle or an extra dog figure with it. There's none of that. It's just at 2,000 figures, he's going to unveil some marketing. He's going to... Stupid. It's so incredibly dumb. I can't believe it, but I feel it gets dumber. All right. Now, the figure itself is made by McFarlane. It's 7 inches, so it's in the McFarlane DC scale, and it's been pointed out by several people. It's the first thing I thought of, but several other people have also mentioned it, that this is probably just tooling from McFarlane's DC line or something very similar. And all they did is they just ran 10,000 because this cat, Eric July, paid them. And they just made a new head for it and then painted it, put it in the box, and ship it, okay? So if this is a vanity thing, well, good on Eric for getting it as cheap as he can without having to have new molds made, because new molds are going to cost you $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for just some sort of a big beefcake dude in shiny orange spandex outfit. Stupid. But he had to have apparently purchased these first to get the deal, is what it sounds like, because this had to have happened a couple years ago and we're now in the pre-order window. So let's look at the figure, which is... How can I view this? Did I accidentally add one to the cart? If one of these gets sold to me and then sent to my house, I'll be upset. So 7-inch scale, comes with 2 swappable heads, 6 swappable hands, an art card. Basically, it's the equivalent of kind of a deluxe figure. Anytime you get extra hands and heads and stuff like that, it's a deluxe. This has got to be the weakest deluxe I've ever seen, and $40 for an action figure of this caliber, way too much. They don't pay $40 for the DC guys. This is less than the DC. With the DC guys, at least you get a cool superhero. You get a Batman, a Superman, Wonder Woman, a Joker, all that kind of stuff. These are great. I don't know who Isom is. I don't know what his story is. He's got like 3 comic books total to his name. Is that enough to warrant making an action figure? 3 comics these days? This, my friends, is the very definition of a vanity project that has somehow smashed into the back of a bank truck or something. This is when you are a vain person who just wants to see your garbage made and become a reality, and there's no fans to do it, so you're going to do it because you're rich. This is what it looks like, people. Totally unnecessary. Let's go back. $40 for this action figure. Way too much. And then there is this, okay? Now this to me is marketing gone wrong. For $80, that's double what the other guy costs. He will sign it, Eric July will sign it, and you'll get a certificate. it doesn't work, Eric, it doesn't work if the other figures you're selling don't have a certificate. You see, the certificate only applies to things when you have the whole run, not part of the run and this run, okay? I know that you're trying to create some sort of a way to make a different tier. I've got a deluxe figure and now I've got a luxury item. What is my luxury item? Couldn't come up with any ideas. What about a signature and a certificate? Doesn't work that way if the other guys don't have a certificate. Because what does it mean? It's just a piece of paper with the same action figure. You know, you're charging $40 for a piece of paper. Dumb. Super dumb. Now, there's some other things where it's a package of the guy without the signature for $40 and a guy with the signature for $80, and he takes $8 off. That's terrible carrot and stick. There's some $15 card. Then there's this, people. Explain this to me. This is something I can't really understand at all. You get the figure, but then there's also a statue you can get. And I believe the statue is pretty expensive. Statues generally are. It's an Isom statue, and the combination of the two is $295. Let's see here. Is there just the statue on its own? Yes, here it is. If you want just the statue, $275. So basically what he's saying is if you buy a statue, if you put in an extra $20, he'll send you an action figure. What a weird package deal. Why don't you just, with the action figure, say, make a little thing that's an add-on saying if you buy this statue, you can now get this figure discounted. But he puts them in a pack like everyone's looking for this 2-pack. We're not looking for the 2-pack. Just the opposite. Then there's this. It's the action figure with a Yari statue for $515. You've got to be super high to want this, because what is that character he's created? This Yari character? No one cares about that, and it's got like one comic. There are people out there like Brian Pulido, who did Lady Death, Billy Tucci, who does She, Mike Allred does Madman, Mark Wagner did Grendel. There's all these guys that have been out on the field playing ball for years, established this huge following over the years by grinding away. They themselves have statues and action figures, but only a couple. You can get a Lady Death from Executive Replicas. You can get a She from Executive Replicas. That's it. That's all they need. That's as much as their following will allow them to make. They don't have all this other tchotchke shit for $80. This is absolutely insane. I can't believe that I accidentally have one in my cart. I'm going to have to abandon it. So that is the campaign, folks. And I'm calling it a campaign only because of this thing right here. It's got this clock clicking down. What happens when the window's over and they show up and then it just turns into an online store? Like, what's the incentive for the pre-order? Makes no sense. So I hate to be negative towards stuff, but this is clearly just some rich guy's vanity project gone totally astray with absolutely no marketing chops, no business savvy, somebody who wants to be a player in the game so bad and to say, look what I made. I made an action figure. Well, let me tell you, buddy, a lot of people out there made a lot of action figures. At the end of the day, the reality of the matter is nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit at all, for a fact. And the fact that there's 267 people out there that have been conned by this kind of scares me. But it gives me hope in thinking that I could just go home, take a bunch of garbage, a bunch of trash, some old Kleenex, some old newspapers, throw it in a bag, write $40 on it, and sell 200 of them. See? There's a future out there for everybody. Thanks to everybody who made it this far into the video. You know who you are maybe because you're watching. That's it for this episode. Like, subscribe on your own time. Everybody stay charged.